All right, greetings everyone. Welcome to the latest update for Project Dramond, and this is actually a special session here. We're recording this on Wednesday, August 11th, 2021. So previously in all our updates, we've just done our, weekly stand-ups, and sometimes Chris is here, sometimes Chris is not here, and we just talk for 10 minutes or so about what we've been working on the past week, and we're going to kind of do that tonight, but we're also going to be showcasing some of the single player point and click adventure game that's being worked on so everybody can see the progress that's being worked on. But before we get into that, I will do my version of a stand up real quick. Everything that I'm working on for the past week is all the prep for session 2 of our tabletop playtest, which is what we're doing immediately after this. And we're going to be live streaming that on YouTube. So hopefully those of you who are following along will be tuning in for that. Chris is working on Chapter 4 artwork. I wrote Chapter 4 on Friday and Saturday of last week. That's being published tomorrow on Patreon. And then after tonight's session, I'll be repeating the same process in the sense that Thursday and Friday I'll be doing prep for next week's play session, making any new maps that I have to make. Then Friday, Saturday, and or Saturday or Sunday, I will be. I probably will draft Chapter 5 this week, but I'm not going to publish Chapter 5 next week. We'll be publishing Chapter 5 at the end of the month. So there's I'm going to try to do a chapter every 2 weeks for the book, and then Chris will be going back to working on logos for the brand after this. So that's my version of the stand-up. Now, your version of your stand up is obviously you've been working on all this. So just before we get into doing a showcase tonight, why don't you just actually walk us through what you've been working on the past few days?
So I have been trying to get the questing system designed in such a way that we know how we can write our quests and how we can implement it so that we're hopefully not having to do a bunch of changes every time we do a quest. We're trying to make it as streamlined as possible, but still have them be able to be unique. So I've been working on that as well as been talking back and forth with the creator of the point and click pack that we originally bought, which is the project house that houses this entire game. There's some issues that we're having that him and I have been back and forth with. So working on some bug fixes, working on the questing system, and then obviously um, trying to flesh out interiors finally because pretty much got a handle on the quest system, how we kind of want it to be at least for the prototype. Things may, you never know, they may change, but at least for the prototype, this is how we want them to function. So,
Okay,
and that's been I've been working on that for a couple of weeks. I mean, it's been piddle farting around with other things, getting it done whilst I was stewing about this. But it took a while to actually finally it's kind of in depth. But once I got it figured out, it all started working quite well.
perfect. So what we're going to do tonight is we're actually going to do a little bit of a showcase. Even though things are still in as you can see, we don't have skins on all of the NPCs yet, at least here in the interior. Exterior, we do have some. But we wanted to show a little bit, like he said, he's been working on the questing system, and since this is a point and click adventure game, a lot of what you're going to be doing in this game, since it's not, we're not planning on having combat in this first game, it's going to be dialogue and puzzles. So all the quests will relate around reading through dialogue, picking up clues to what you might need to do, going in, getting items, and doing things of that nature. Again, going back to say like King's Quest, the early King's Quest games, or even Quest for Glory 1, although Quest for Glory 1 did have combat in it. In any case, this is the you've whipped up the interior here over the last couple of days. Is that everything you see here? I just remind everybody, work in progress. You're probably going to see some bugs here. Obviously, our UI is not finalized or anything like this. This is just the first chance that we've actually put people in and showed people. I think this is the very first time we've done this because all we've ever done before is like you've recorded some video snippets, sent them over to me, and then I've done those up on YouTube for our patrons and then done like short versions for social media. So without further ado, um, again, work in progress. None of this is finalized. None of this is the final avatars or anything like that. This is just we wanted to show people a little bit of the questing system tonight. that he's been working on. So the scenario here is your mom owns this tavern, and you'll actually we don't have it in yet, but the actual start of the game will be starting in the back room, which is behind that door. That's going to be your little room, and once we get that fleshed out, your character will start in there, then come into this room, and then from here begin to explore the village of Marin's Rest, and all the things that are waiting for him beyond the doors of this tavern. And if you want a little more information on the story, I would suggest that you go to the Project Dramond playlist here and look for the brainstorming videos. I don't know which videos in particular. It should say in the description text which ones are the ones where we've talked about the story for the adventure game in particular, because we've had other ones where we've talked about the book series, and the overall tabletop storyline. But there are 2 or 3 episodes dedicated to just the storyline for what we have planned for the point and click adventure game. So if you want to know more about that, those are like hour-long episodes. You can go dig into those. So anyway, the scene is you've woken up, you've come out of your room, you're presented with this scene. Eventually, we've got a married couple sitting at a table. We've got another guy by himself, 2 other people by the bar, and then there's the local drunk hanging out by the bar, and then we've got his mom. So if we want to click on her, a cheerful woman who could be called handsome rather than beautiful, quick to smile and sharp of wit, she has owned the Stonybrook Tavern for as long as you have known her, and given that she is your mother, that means your entire life. This is Marion Iphone. Hello, sleepyhead. Ha ha, you're so funny, mother. I'm funnier when you help out. Go fetch that dirty plate from the table over there and bring it back to me so I can clean it. So
Do you want to
you're
go through all these options, or
uh we can, right?
yeah, we can.
Yeah. Good morning, Mother. Anything exciting happen while I was asleep? Other than Rand Pearlstein looking like his wife got the better of him in an argument, no. It's been a quiet morning. And you look like you could still use a few more sessions until you are beautiful. Thanks, Mom. How are you feeling? Well enough, my dear. The old man Milton is smelling a bit riper than usual today. Old man Milton's the drunk, and then Pearlstein is the husband of the couple sitting at the table here. Any news this morning? Other than those damned paladins coming around again this morning and demanding to check our rooms. Oh, I see something that we're going to have to fix there. I say check 2 times in a row. That's a
Mm-hmm.
grammar fix. Other than the
Mm-hmm.
paladins coming to check our rooms to check to see if we had any elven guests, no. Things have been quiet so far today. Or as quiet as they can ever be since the Church of the Elderways set up their garrison here. I probably could have slept longer. Anything you need help with? You can deliver a loaf of bread to the smith, Corbin Fern, and then return with his payment afterwards. I'll be going now. So, what was one of the things she said? Get a dirty plate from the table. There's the dirty plate. A dirty plate that was left on the table. So we can pick that up. And then once he's picked it up, you'll notice that it goes into your. Could you bring up that hotbar again? Oh, I forgot to read the text that was. That text probably needs to stay up a little bit longer, by the way, when it pops up
Okay,
after you click it.
I'll make a note of that. We can make that
Yeah, because that went really quick. I didn't even. I kind of spaced that it was going to pop up.
at
Um,
time. Sorry, that was my bad.
no, it probably.
Basically, it says a wooden dish. Looks like somebody was in a
Okay, so
hungry
yeah, we'll
mood
just.
when they ate it.
I'd say
We'll add.
double the time on that. And then so now there's the plate in the inventory slot there, and you'll go back to your mom and you'll automatically turn this in. Thank you, my child. And so now we've turned the plate in. Um, there's nothing in your inventory now, and then she doesn't. We don't have any more dialogue for her yet, right?
It's just
I swear this place never stays clean. And then I haven't added. That was what we talked about yesterday. I need to now
yes,
add options A, B, and C, or
yes,
whatever. So option.
whatever
But
we want.
one of the other things she said was, "Could you deliver a loaf of bread to the smith?" And then that spawned a loaf of bread, a freshly baked loaf of bread. So this has spawned a loaf of bread on the bar top. You can pick that up, put it in your inventory. The loaf of bread is still warm to the touch. Yeah, all those we need to double the
That'd
time
be
on those.
longer. Yep.
Yeah. All right, so we've
And
got the
we
loaf
don't.
of bread. Now we need to go find the smith, the local smith in town, and deliver the loaf of bread to him. And at some point we will have loading screens, probably. So this is the exterior. Do we have tooltips on the signs?
Hmm.
All right, that's the Stony Brook Tavern. That's the Lore and Lexicons, which is the local bookstore. What about the general store? Penny's General Store. And then we have Fire and Flint Forge. And there underneath the shadow of the eaves is one Corbin Fern. The middle-aged man has the rugged frame of someone who has spent their entire life swinging a hammer. His face is lined, but his eyes are kind, and he gives you a friendly nod as you approach. Oh, I forgot we had descriptions for all this. The sharpening stone is well worn and perhaps halfway through its life cycle. Several blades are stacked nearby, waiting their turn at the wheel. You wonder if Master Fern will have you sweating away at the stone today. Oh yeah, we have all these. Several finished swords are carefully stacked upon this weapon rack, their steels bright and sharp. There are also a handful of unfinished weapons as well, in various states of forging. You wonder how long until Master Fern will allow you to forge your first blade. Oh, this is so cool. Corbin's only child, this forge is kept smoldering year round. It is weathered with soot and age, but as solid as the very iron and steel it melts. It is the holiest of grounds in Marin's Rest, and the closest you have been allowed to approach is operating the bellows. So you're just a lowly apprentice. All right, let's deliver our loaf of bread to him. Greetings, apprentice. Good morning, master. How are you today? My hands still grip the handle of my hammer well enough, and I am not yet a whitebeard. I would say that as good as one could expect for my age. I have the loaf of bread you were expecting from my mother. Perfect timing. I was just about to have my midday meal. Here's the coin your mother will be expecting from me. And it put that coin in your inventory. So we can we talk to him now, or do we need to go deliver
Yep.
the? Yep.
We
So
we can talk to him.
all right, perfect. Hello, my apprentice. Any news, master? Those paladins came nosing around the forge earlier today, looking for some elven mage or some such. Ah!
I need to make that longer.
Oh, it's not based on the click.
I can't make it based on the click during a cutscene. So when I change the
Oh.
camera angle, it has funny things.
All right.
So
Well,
I
we're
need
gonna yeah, we're
things.
gonna have to make that quite a bit longer.
I was making them based on how long it took me to read in my head, and yeah,
Yeah. No, we'll need to make those longer.
it was longer.
Can you
My
back
bad.
out and redo it real quick? Just I'll be going, and then he should have it again when you go back.
Yeah.
My apprentice. Any news, master? I want to finish reading it. Damn it. I reminded them we haven't seen their kind around these parts for nigh on a year now, but I reckon they'll be back again in a day or three. Anything you need doing? Indeed. Fetch me one of those unfinished blades from the weapon rack, and let's see about finishing it today. Oh yeah, those need to be much longer. Um, yeah,
Read faster.
I
Ah.
should read faster. All right. So on the weapon rack, there's an unfinished blade, which we can then click.
Yeah,
The
this is
sword
gonna
is
be big.
nearly finished. It has been ground and roughly honed, leaving only finally sharpening and polishing of the blade. And that put it in your inventory. And then we can talk to him again. Ah, perfect. We should be able to finish this one up by nightfall. And so you've turned that into him. That's as far as we've gotten in that quest line for now, because we're work in progress. Like I said, another fine day here in Marin's Rest, would you say? So, because Joey's been working on getting the questing system implemented over the last couple of weeks, we're not too deep into the quest lines yet. And this has mostly been building these for testing purposes. So now we have the coin from the smith, which we're going to go deliver to his mother. We're back in the tavern. Thank you, child. Hopefully the man will remember to eat it instead of only worrying about his precious metal. Okay, well that's an interesting. I didn't. I swear this place never stays clean. I didn't know about the cutscene thing, so we'll definitely have to work on that timing
Yeah,
wise.
definitely add those, make those a little longer. I can play with it some more. I'd like him to be based on the click because I'd like it to be to where, everybody reads at different speeds. So I'd like it
Yes,
to be where you could click it. So I'll play around with that some more. That is on one of my lists of bugs. Bugs.
cool. So from here, I know people have probably got questions and everything else. The big thing will be for us, the continuation of this is, I think the next part is continuing to add dialogue options for the NPCs that we currently have, adding descriptions for all of the NPCs in the tavern, giving them actual avatars so that they're not just robots looking thing. And then, like you said, you're working on interiors, right?
Yep.
So the next,
Yep.
we've got to do the bedroom, and then we have to do the interior of the bookstore and the interior of the general store. And I think that's going to be all that we need for the prototype demo that we're going to be launching here
What
soonish.
did you say the kid's room? His room?
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
say
his
his
room.
room?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So it's his room, the bookstore interior, and the general store interior. And then I obviously have to flesh out quests for all of the NPCs in this starting area. And then once we have all that done and we've worked out any of the kinks that we've got, excuse me, hiccups here, we will have the prototype demo ready, and that
Hmm.
will be this whole scene that you just saw, plus the rest of the quest and the interiors of all these buildings, doing some quests, getting the basic general idea of what's going on in Marin's Rest as you're starting your adventure. We will be meeting again. Go back to the brainstorming episodes because a lot of the storyline that we're going to be working on is there. And then, of course, for those of you who've been paying attention, the maps that we've shown and the previews that we've shown over on Patreon over the last few months, we've showed you the entirety of Marin's Rest. So we've got, I don't know how many scenes that's going to end up being in total, might like be half a dozen scenes, but we've got like the stables and we've got the I'm just thinking off the top of my head. We've got the stables, we've got the mayor or the sheriff's office, and then we've got the farm, and then we've got the mill, and then we've got the plaza with the garrison. We've got the adventurers guild. So there's gonna be probably maybe 8 to 10 scenes within this town. Then we've got exteriors that we're working on as well for the forest surrounding. So this goes back to Quest for Glory 1, if you remember how you had the town of Spielberg, and then around the town of Spielberg, you had the forest, and you had, a dozen or so or more, I think, but different little scenes that you could go to in the forest, and each scene, not all the scenes had things. Some of the scenes were just random, but we're going to be doing the way we're going to be doing our scenes that all the scenes will have something to do in them, and of course the eventual idea is that you'll eventually be getting on a boat and going across to the island in the center of the inner sea to retrieve the sword from the dragon's corpse. So we'll end up doing a dungeon over there as well as some exterior scenes for the island. So we've got quite a bit of work ahead of us, but it's coming together. This is the hard part. The hard part was getting all of the mechanics in place, getting all of the quests working, all the blueprints set up. Obviously, we've still got a couple of bugs that we got to work out, and the little things like we saw tonight, like figuring out the timing of things or making those click based. I forget what was the other thing we talked about the other day. I don't really remember now. And then, of course, I have to finish fleshing out item descriptions, tooltip descriptions, more dialogue options, more quests. There's quite a bit of work, but I think it's looking good,
It's all downhill from here.
theoretically. Oh, and I
Yeah.
still have to finish customizing icons and stuff, but that's later.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've got the sword in here for now, but yeah, icons and
The UI. Um,
UI and all that good stuff.
in any case,
There's tons of work ahead, but the hard part is the hard part. The the brain straining part is kind of over for the
yeah,
most part.
because from here it's world building because
Copy paste.
it's copy paste and also just as I write quests, you put those into the game, and the same blueprints work for all the quests. So,
Unless we
um,
have something that's custom, like
right.
a special quest or something like that. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
those of you who are watching along, if you enjoy what you're seeing, I would highly suggest that you head over to Patreon and pick up a subscription to our Patreon page, where myself, my brother, And Chris, you want to come say hi real quick? Just poke your head in. Just poke your head in. You don't have to.
I'll also note, when did we start this project? March?
Yeah, March 1st. So,
Yeah, so I
she's
mean,
doing all the concept art and everything else. So if you would like to support us on Patreon, go over to Patreon, pick up a subscription. You can get involved for as little as $3 a month. There's different tiers. $3 a month gets you the serialized publication of the chapters in the book. The next of which comes out tomorrow. You're finishing up chapter 4 artwork right now, right? Are you done? Okay. I want to see it in my inbox. Go! Go, 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 go! Thank you, honey. Um, so we've got serialized book chapters coming out at $3 a month and at $8 a month. You get all the behind the scenes concept art stuff from Chris, as well as excerpts from the book as it's being written. And then the $15 tier gets you all the tabletop previews, all of the maps for the tabletop game and its campaign modules, as well as the 8K maps. And then we've got a bunch of other stuff for the adventure game at the $25 tier and beyond. So go over to Patreon, pick up a subscription. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon so you get updates for future content, and join our Discord if you want to come join our community and hang out with us on a daily basis. Anything you want to add to that? Nope.
that's
Quick
it,
and
man.
easy. All right, thank you everybody. This is probably the longest update we've done. This was a 20, we're at 22 minutes almost, but we wanted to actually
Sweet.
show people because again, we did just start this in March 1st, so we've made quite a bit of progress in just a few short months, and we're on track for some really exciting things by the end of the year. So thanks to everybody. We'll see everybody on the flip side next week.